I said it, and I said it, and I said it, and I didn't even listen to myself, but it happened. The market is about to drop. If it hasn't dropped already, it's about to drop. This entire video today is to tell you what you should be looking out for, when is the best time that you should be buying your cars, when's the best time you should be selling your cars, what happened in the past 5 months, what's going to happen in the future. I don't have a crystal ball, but I can tell you I own a car dealership and I am on the front line. I can tell you when business is good and I can tell you when business is bad. I can tell you when people are spending money and I can tell you when people are not. I know firsthand when the economy is doing well and when it's not, based on how people are spending here and what they are buying. And this video is information passed on from me to all of you. Let's get going. Hey everyone in the YouTube world, my name is Craig from Flying Wheels. Welcome to my Flying Wheels YouTube channel. I own a small car dealership and I'd like to think that I am on the front line of the economy. I get to see firsthand how people are spending their money, if they are or if they're not, what they're buying and how things are going. So when COVID hit early in 2020, we had no idea what was going on. All I know is that we saw an absolute drop in tax season. Tax season is our busiest time of year because it's when people get their money and it's when people spend their money. They just have that money and cannot wait to spend it because it's burning a hole in their pocket. Well, once COVID hit, it dropped. So our season that we prep for that makes our entire year was cut in half. So now everyone's scared, everyone's wondering what's gonna happen, where's the economy going? Well, they stopped spending, and that's what cut it down. But then what happened? We got our stimulus checks, and tax season 2.0 came, just like we said it was gonna happen. They started rushing the market, they started spending their money, business was good once again. Well, those stimulus checks don't last very long. They weren't a lot of money. So what happened all summer long when everyone was buying boats and campers and RVs and Shelbys and Corvettes? Well, I'll tell you what happened. The government stimulated the economy again. Businesses were given grants, businesses were given EIDL loans. The government gave business free money. They gave us money to keep our doors open even when we were closed. They gave us money to keep our employees employed even when we had no business. And a lot of it was forgiven. So we were basically given free money as a business owner to give to our employees to keep the economy stimulated. It was fake money. It was fake money boosting the economy. The government was giving us money to keep the economy going, to stimulate the economy, which is the exact point of what they did. It worked. Well, that money's gone. So what did they do after that? They gave businesses through the SBA $100,000 at 3.75%. So now business owners have money and they're spending the money and they're building their businesses up. Things are thriving, but they're spending it elsewhere too. They're spending it frivolously. That money is gone now. We had an election war, we have what could possibly be a civil war. Nobody knows what's going on, and COVID round 2 hits. Now everyone's afraid, now no one's spending their money. Right after election, going into winter, everyone is fearful, no one is fruitful, no one is spending their money. And that's what's going on right now, and I'm gonna show you an example. I knew better and I didn't listen to my own advice. Things were great, business is doing well. Well, I know I do not buy sports cars after the 4th of July because I have to have them all gone by August so I can make room for my trucks and my SUVs because people don't want to buy sports cars in July and August. They already have their sports cars. What happens in August, what happens in September? The squirrels start storing their nuts. They don't want to store their Mustangs and their Corvettes. They want to get rid of them. Well, business was so good and people were still spending in July and August that what did I do? I bought a Celine, I bought a Corvette. That Celine, I'm gonna end up storing all winter and it's gonna tie up $28,000. That Corvette would have been worth over $38,000 this summer. I just sold it for $34,000 just so I could make space, free up some cash, liquidate, and move on. When the economy was flooded, when everyone's spending money, demand was high, supply was low, so prices skyrocketed because everyone wanted something in the summer. Well, now the demand is low, and the supply is high and the prices have decreased. That's a $4,000 drop on that car just so I can get rid of it, and I'm not the only one. Look at all of these Corvettes for sale. The market is insanely flooded with Corvettes for sale, whereas you couldn't touch them 3 or 4 months ago. I was scrolling down Facebook Marketplace and I found Z06 after Z06 after Z06 going up for sale. A year and a half ago, I made this video of a 2016 Z06 at auction.
Z07 LT3 heads-up display. 57,600, 58,000.
I made this video May 2019, a year and a half ago. Z06s this summer were going for over $65,000 and you couldn't touch them for less. That means you could have bought this 2 years ago and resold it for profit 2 years later. So when's the best time to buy? I said stop buying. Although I did buy a Celine and a Corvette, I stopped buying everything. I sold my Audi R8. I sold all my toys. I got rid of everything that was tying up money while the demand was high. I got rid of all of it. And what did I say? I said stop buying, and here's why. I told you to stop buying all the expensive things. Don't buy that lake house. Don't buy that second home. Don't spend $500,000 on a house that was worth $300,000 5 years ago. Don't do it. And we're going to see it coming soon. I don't want to always sound like Chicken Little where the sky is falling, the sky is falling. Be greedy when people are fearful and fearful when people are greedy. Remember I said that? People are getting fearful. Wait it out a little bit longer, things are gonna get tougher, and those people that stacked up their cash are gonna reap the rewards. Those people that spent all their cash are gonna be in trouble. So when do you buy? Well, you can start buying right now. Perfect example, going into winter. I took $4,000 off the price of that Corvette. When people were buying cars like crazy, I overspent on that car. Why? Because I wanted it, because I thought it would sell, because it was in demand. Now they're not. Now I'm ready to take a loss on that car. So if somebody was looking for a Corvette, it would have been best to have listened to me in the summer, not buy it, and scoop it up now for $4,000 less, right? That's the idea. Now is the time, and it's coming, and it's gonna get worse and worse. Everyone's thinking about early Christmas. No one knows what's gonna happen with a new president. No one knows where our economy's gonna go, so everyone is just a little bit fearful, and no one's spending money. And when no one's spending money, vendors have to lower their prices to get people to want to purchase. So if everybody's calling me on cars and it's hard for me to find a car to sell, my prices are gonna be high. Why? Because there's so much demand, there's supply, that I don't have to lower my prices. And I said it all summer long. I said, honestly, this car is gonna sell. I don't have to lower the price. And then what happens? The people buy it for asking price. Well, now, when things are slow, and I think they're gonna get slower, you're in a better position to purchase that car or toy or whatever it is that you want. This is a little bit of a weird example, but you'll see that I'm in my bed. Every single Saturday morning, I wake up early, and while I'm laying in bed, I respond to all the text messages that I got all week long. Then I go on Facebook and I respond to all the Facebook messages that I got all week long. And I respond to all the emails that I got all week long. I do that every Saturday morning just to follow up and set up my day to get people in my shop on Saturdays. I haven't had to do this in 6 months because business has been so good. This past Saturday is the first time I've actually had to do that again because I didn't have enough leads set up. I didn't have enough appointments set up for this Saturday. So I followed up with everybody to try to get them in the doors because they weren't doing it on their own. Well, when you drive by a car dealership and you see that it's jam-packed with vehicles, that means they have a lot of money tied up. That means they have a lot of inventory. That means they want to sell. Over the summer, I had less cars than I've ever had in my life. And there were other dealers that just weren't buying. Now, a lot of people called me cheap and said I wasn't doing it the right way when I was buying things below book value. I was working twice as hard to find inventory to stock up. Why? Because I refuse to overpay. It happens every year during tax season. I stock up early, and a lot of dealers don't prepare. They sell out early in the middle of the season, and then they go overspend because the supply is low and the demand is high. They overspend on their inventory. The tax money runs dry, and then they have overpriced inventory. I knew that was gonna happen after the summer, especially going into an election year, so I was very picky on what I purchased, and I worked twice as hard to buy my inventory at a lower price. I had to find those deals still. So while everyone was overpaying on things, I was working twice as hard to find that same deal that I would have found easier a year ago. Trucks, for example, I could have bought a 2014 GMC Sierra Denali for $20,000 with 120,000 miles last year. Now they're $24,000 and $25,000. That same truck, a year older, is now worth more than it was a year ago. So the prices are still high because dealers own their inventory for too much money. So the hardest part is going to be convincing dealers to sell their inventory for a little bit less. Well, I used this BMW for an example in one of my last videos last week. I'm gonna use it again. I bought this 2019 BMW 540 M Sport with 16,000 miles 2 months ago. When I scan the VIN, right here, I come up with a value based on what dealers are paying for this car at auction within the past 30 days. If you haven't seen that video yet, go back. You can see how dealers get their prices on their cars. I came up with a value of about $47,000. That's what dealers are paying for this specific car in the past 30 days. Well, I paid $45,000 for it. So I knew that I was $2,000 behind what most dealers are paying for this car, whether it's a trade-in or at auction. So I knew I had about a $2,000 buffer. Fast forward to today, when people aren't spending $50,000 on a car, this car is now worth what I paid 2 months ago. So if I was gonna buy it today, I'd try to be another $2,000 behind it. So that's how much the market has changed. Now, I wholesale a lot of cars to other dealers, meaning I buy cars and sell them to other dealers to resell for a profit. So I have to buy these cars under value so I can sell these cars to the dealers at the actual dealer purchase value. Well, even that has changed. So this BMW, for example, I bought it knowing what I should be able to sell it if I get into a bind and I do want to sell it to another dealer. I can wholesale it for X amount. Well, here's the text message that he responded to me with. Now you can see it's not just me saying this. The new car stores aren't selling what they were expecting to sell, or they're not selling as much as they were a few months ago either. So let's talk about final thoughts. Right now and in the next few months is the best time you can buy a car at any point in the year. November, December, and January are the best times to buy a car. Once February comes, tax season picks up, and then the prices are through the roof again. Going into the winter and midwinter is the best time you should be buying a car. The hardest part right now is going to be convincing the dealers that are way overpriced to reduce their prices back down to market value. And the best thing to do that, let natural selection bring those prices down. When those vehicles are outdated or over 60 days old, or aged units we call them, the prices are naturally going to start coming down, which is bringing the market down. Now, if you are a dealer watching this video, beware. Don't be overspending. Don't pay over MMR. Don't pay over value for vehicles right now, because the market is going to decline and we don't know what's going to happen. And we don't know if this housing bubble is going to crash. We don't know if we're going to have round 3 of COVID or 4 or 5 or what's going to happen in the future. So just beware. If this video was at all helpful, do me a favor, give me a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe down below. I'll see you in the next video. Adios.